So first thing I want to make sure that we do is we just do a quick review of what is a molecular compound versus what is an ionic compound, okay? So these molecular compounds, these are made of molecules, whereas ionic compounds are made of what are called formula units. They're pretty much the same thing, it's just that it depends on what types of elements they are made of. So, for example, the molecular compounds are made of nonmetals. Where are the nonmetals on the periodic table? Are they to the left of the staircase or to the right of the staircase? Right. To the right. So over here are the nonmetals. And typically, if you have compounds that are made of the nonmetals, including the metalloids that are to the right, so now we're going to do the metalloids. Most of them that are to the right of the staircase, we're just going to say nonmetals. And if they're to the left, we're going to call them metals. They will have more characteristics of the metals or of the nonmetals anyway. Okay, so the other difference is the ionics, though. This is pretty easy to get. These are made of ions, cations and anions is what the ionic ones are made of. But if you're talking about elements, there is no element on the periodic table that's called the cation or anion. Typically, in nature, the elements exist neutrally. So if you found a big piece of silver or gold or tin, it would be neutral. It's not until it bonds that it actually becomes charged, like an ion would. So what we're going to do is we're going to call the metals the cations, and the nonmetals the anions, and we'll talk about that later when we'll do the ionic lecture. So these are made of metals and nonmetals, or cations and anions, where these are made of nonmetals. Hydrogen is kind of its own, it does its own thing. It's like the metalloids where it acts as a metal and it can act as a nonmetal, so it can do a little bit of both. But typically in naming, if hydrogen is in the compound, we're going to treat it as a molecular compound. These share electrons. So what happens is, you know the outermost energy level that we had talked about with the electron configuration when we were doing quantum? Those electrons in the outermost energy level can be shared, one with another atom's outermost electrons. And when they're shared, those make molecular compounds. Ionic compounds don't share the electrons, instead they lose and gain. In other words, one of the elements, it will be the metal, will lose its electrons, and the other one will gain the electrons. The molecular compounds, when we name them, we use prefixes, and the ionics, we don't use prefixes. So we're going to focus on first are just the moleculars today. Okay? So let's start off by just talking about what are those diatomic elements. And the diatomics are different because it's just one element, but there are two of them. These do not exist alone in nature, okay? And we did Mr. Brinkelhoff, and the way that you're going to spell Brinkelhoff is Br space I, N for nitrogen, Cl for chlorine, Brinkel, Hoff, H, hydrogen, O, oxygen, and F, fluorine. So we're going to put 2's after every single one of these because they're diatomic. But the 2 goes down on the bottom, not on top. So it's 2 bromines. That number tells you how many there are in the molecule. And so in this example, there are 2 bromines or 2 iodines or 2 fluorines that are in there. Now I have something that I noticed about the periodic table that works for the diatomics also. Because I tried boxing them in and I checked to see what ends up happening is, I call it the 777 rule. It starts with the atomic number 7, nitrogen. It makes the shape of the number 7, and there are 7 of them. Well, this is Brinkelhoff, B-R-I-N-C-L. What are we missing? H. We're missing the H right over here in Brinkelhoff. Or you can use high on Fickelberg. You can use either one to memorize the diatomics. Everybody say Mr. Brinkelhoff. Mr. Brinkelhoff. Okay. So those are the diatomics. A molecular compound, we said, are made of molecules. Easy, because molecular molecules, okay? So in one of the hours, we were trying to come up with a way to remember that you need to make sure that you know that the molecular compounds are made of nonmetals, whereas the ionic ones are metal, nonmetal, or cation, anion. So these are made of 2 or more nonmetals bonded together. And in parentheses, write and hydrogen, okay? But the best thing that we could come up with was no, mo. No mo. Like no more, no mo. Okay? Everybody say no mo. No mo. What this is, if there is nonmetals, if it starts with a nonmetal, we're going to call it molecular. Okay? So no mo is what we're going to say so that we can remember that. All right, let's talk about their phase, what phase they are, and their melting and boiling point. So if we look at some of the nonmetals, if they bonded together, one of the most common ones that we could put together, C and O comes together to make what that you know? Carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. And what do you know the phases of carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide? Gas. So does that mean that it has a low melting point and boiling point or a high melting and boiling point if it's already a gas at room temperature? Low. Awesome. So these have low melting and boiling points. They're already gases at room temperature. And so these are mostly gases or liquids at room temperature. Okay, like water, like carbon dioxide, any of the organics like the ethane and the propane and the methane and the methanol, like alcohols, those are all going to be organic or molecular compounds. An ionic compound, on the other hand, is made of not molecules. It starts with an F. They call them formula units. Awesome. They're called formula units. These are made of a cation and an anion, but what type of element did we say that would be then? The cation would be a metal, and the anion would be a nonmetal. Perfect. Okay. These, like, for example, what's the most common metal bonding with nonmetal that you know? Something in this area with something over there. NaCl. Good. NaCl. But what do you know about salts? Solid, liquid, or gas at room temperature? Solid. These are going to be mostly solids at room temperature. Okay, so like NaCl, like rock salt, CaCl2. Okay, what we're going to do down here is we're just going to label these. And it's either going to be diatomic, molecular, or ionic. So if it's diatomic, it's one single element, meaning there's only one capital letter, but there are two of them. That's what the di refers to. If it's molecular, I want you to remember, everybody say it again, NOMO. NOMO. These are made of nonmetals. Moleculars are made of nonmetals. Whereas ionic compounds are actually going to be a metal plus a nonmetal. The ionics are going to be cation and anion, but we're going to say metal, nonmetal. Okay? First thing is, it's only one capital letter, which means it's not a compound, so what would that make this one? Perfect. D, diatomic. You got it. Awesome. Okay, next one. I want you first to tell me whether magnesium is a metal or a nonmetal. So remember the ones to the left of the staircase, everybody are metals, and to the right are nonmetals. So where do you find magnesium? Metals, good. So if it starts with a metal, then it must be ionic. Awesome. Okay, next. So we've got P. So find it on the periodic table. Is it a metal or a nonmetal? Non-metal, so that makes it and molecular. Awesome. Okay, so NOMO. If it starts with a non-metal, you're going to say NOMO, non-metal, molecular. Okay. Next one, calcium, metal or non-metal? Very good. So that makes it ionic. Awesome. Okay. S, sulfur. Notice I'm only looking at the first one. S, sulfur. Non-metal. That makes it perfect. And N2, last one, first person in this row here. N2.
Diatomic.
Diatomic. Perfect. It's part of Brinkelhoff. If it's one of the ones in Brinkelhoff, then that's going to be diatomic. Okay? All right. So we're going to start naming. And these molecular ones, before we start this, they either call them binary compounds or they call them ternary compounds. What do you think bi refers to? Two elements. What do you think ternary refers to? Three or more. It's more than two. Anything more than two is going to be called ternary. And don't forget, whenever you have a new element, it's a new capital letter. So we're going to name binary molecular compounds. The first thing is we don't reduce them. For example, anybody know what H2O2 is?
Hydrogen peroxide.
Hydrogen peroxide. Awesome. That's hydrogen peroxide. They don't reduce it. It's just called hydrogen peroxide. And we're not going to name that one. The naming system is different for those. Remember, these are compounds that are made of two or more nonmetals. The way that we're going to name them is we're going to use prefixes. What do you think mono is for? 1. What about di? 2. For tri, I want you to draw a triangle, and in the middle of the triangle, put a 3. And for tetra, I want you to draw a tetrahedral, which means a square, anything that has 4 sides. I don't really care what you draw. And I want you to write a 4 in the middle of it. And now 5. So 5, we're going to draw a pentagon, and it looks like a house, kind of. Okay? So 5 goes in the middle. What about hexagon? How many sides does it have? 6. Perfect. So we're going to go, it's kind of like having an arrow up, 2 sides, and then an arrow down. So this, you're going to put a 6 inside. Heptagon, I don't know. It's got 1 extra side on there. We're just going to write 7 for heptagon. Octa is the beginning of some type of water animal. We call it an octopus. I'm just going to write octopus because people thought mine looked really funny before. But the octopus has 8 legs. Okay. What about nona? What does that sound like? 9. Perfect. And deca, like a decade, would be 10. Not like the marketing competition. That's different. That stands for something else. Okay. If there is 1 atom of the first element, there's no mono. Okay? For example, in the name carbon monoxide, it's not monocarbon monoxide, it's just carbon monoxide. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the number of them will go in front. So for example, here it says N2, but they call it dinitrogen, and then F4, they call it tetrafluoride. Now, F is not called fluoride on the periodic table. What is it called? Fluorine. And again, O is not called oxide on the periodic table, it's called oxygen. The very end of the name, they changed to "ide." Not the first one, just the second one. The very end of it, they just changed to "ide." Okay? So it'll be things like sulfide instead of sulfur, and phosphide instead of phosphorus. And what do you think nitrogen would be? Nitride. Awesome. Okay? So you're just going to change the ending to an "ide" of it, and that's how we'll end these. Let's first memorize these. We're going to end up doing this together 3 times, okay? We'll get a little bit faster each time. So, 1 is mono, 2, di, 3, tri, 4, tetra, 5, penta, 6, hexa, 7, hepta, that's the hardest one. Like the hexa, hepta sound alike. So hexa, 6 like a hexagon, and then hepta. Then 8 is easy. Octa, 9 sounds like nona, and 10, deca like a decade. Okay, let's do it again. 1, mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, deca. Got it? You want to memorize those, okay? You want to get those memorized. Let's check to see our understanding of this here. So we ended here, so you're going to be the next person. What is hepta then? What number does that match with?
7.
Perfect. Next person, penta.
5.
Awesome. Tri. Based on the example, the way that you do this is, for example, this one would be dinitrogen, and then you say the prefix for it, tetra, and then fluoride. This one would be carbon monoxide, not monocarbon monoxide, because the rule is if the first element's only 1, don't say the mono on it, okay? So that's the only thing. But the second element will always get a prefix. So based on that, what do you think this one is?
Like dinitrogen.
Nice.
Monoxide.
Nice. Monoxide. Got it. Now, if the vowel's the same, you only write it once. If they're different vowels, like tetraoxide would be an AO. Okay? So let's try the next one. So we're up here. So what do you think for B?
Dinitrogen, trioxide.
Perfect. Awesome. Next one, PCl5.
Phosphorus.
Very good. Not mono, because the first one, if it's a 1, you don't say mono. Very good.
Pentafluoride.
Very good. Pentachloride. What do you think that is?
PCl.
Yay! PCl3. Awesome. We don't reduce. If it's a 4 and a 4, it doesn't get reduced. It just stays that way. And last one, what do you think of this one?
N5
Yes.
and F10.
Perfect. And 5F10. Awesome. Okay. This next thing is, we're going to name these as either being binary or ternary. We said that binary meant it was made of how many elements? 2. And ternary means that it's made of anything more than 2, okay? Every new capital letter is a new element. So, letter A, just tell me how many elements and then what you would call it. So how many elements is this? 2, perfect, and you would call that? Binary. Awesome. Okay, next person. How many elements are you seeing here? 3, good. N, H, and S. So nitrogen, hydrogen, and sulfur. So that would be ternary. Nice. Okay, how many elements? We're back to the very, yeah. 3, so you would call that? Ternary. Very nice. And last one.
Binary.
Binary. Why? How many elements are there? 2. Good. Okay, let's classify these. Now we're going to classify as ionic or molecular. Before we do that, let's come down here. And ionics, we said are cation and anion. We're going to say metal plus nonmetal. Moleculars, we are going to say are, first thing is just write NOMO. Everybody say NOMO again? NOMO. Okay, so these are just made of nonmetals. So if the first element's a nonmetal, we're doing this again, if the first element's a nonmetal, it's molecular. And it's really important that you have this down because they're named differently. Moleculars and ionics have a different naming system. So I want to make sure that you know the difference between them before we move on, okay? So next person. Carbon is a metal or a nonmetal?
Non-metal.
So that would make it?
Molecular.
M, molecular. Awesome. Next person, potassium is? Metal, so that would make it? Ionic. Very good. Next, calcium?
Ionic.
Perfect. It's a metal, so ionic. Good. So that would be?
Molecular.
Very good, because that's a nonmetal. Sodium's a metal, so that makes it ionic. Very good. Awesome. Okay. All right, so what I want you to do is take a look at your mixed binary pack. Okay. What would you call this one? Carbon dioxide. Awesome. We knew that one before. What's CO? Carbon monoxide. You knew those two. What would that one be?
Okay, dinitrogen pentaoxide.
Perfect. Okay, and that's dinitrogen pentaoxide. Next, so let's do this one here. What do you think this is?
PCl3.
Awesome. PCl3. What about the next one?
N10 F2.
Perfect. Got it? Okay, so that's it. You're going to keep on going with this. So that's naming our molecular